no requirement to submit a dollar amount when you submit your idea.
As more people benefit with the idea, that increase the chances to see?
That's an interesting question. Well, you know, we're about informed, engaged communities, and as the community benefits from the idea, I think, you know, from a cultural standpoint, I think that's something that is very much taken into consideration when we look at the ideas. So, yeah, but by the same token, what we see a lot in the first 2 years are social ideas masquerading as art. So we want to be careful about that. It's an art contest. It's an idea contest. You know, and so you want to be careful about that when you submit. We see a lot of non-art programs who suddenly have, you know, finger painting, and they're going to, you know, so we do see a lot of that, and that's something that we're kind of on the lookout for. Down the middle?
Right here, thanks. Hi, Dennis.
Right.
With that first proposal, is it preferable to, if you have an idea that you think needs 2 or 3 years to really sort of become something that could, for example, survive on its own or become something worthwhile, should that be included in the initial proposal? I'm guessing that.
If you can fit it within your 150 words.
Gotcha.
You know, I mean, sustainability is a great thing to have in a project, but really, your idea is your idea. I mean, you can't make it work without you know, laying it out. So you've got to just explain it as best you can and take the time to do it. I did have somebody who came up to me last year and said that their idea was just too complicated and they couldn't explain it in 150 words. What should they do? The person came up to me at this session, called me at the office, called me at home, and I said, you know, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with the fact that you can't explain your idea in 150 words, and we're not that smart maybe sometimes, but maybe this isn't the contest for you. So it's an idea contest, and it's 150 words. So if you think your idea is much too complex for us, we respect that. We honor your idea. We just ain't funding it.
How new is a new idea? I mean, do you do continuation or expansions of...
Now, this is somebody who won, so...
I'm also doing an interview for you tomorrow, and I want the answer.
Okay. So, how new is a new idea? We loved what we got in year 1 from Free Gospel Sunday. I don't know if anybody here has been to Free Gospel Sunday, but it's been an extraordinary impact on our community. And a lot of people that would have never gotten to the Arch were able to go to the night concert hall for Free Gospel Sunday. And so when we began to think about that in the second year, that was one of those ideas that potentially wasn't new, but it was so community engaging that we decided to fund it again for a second year. So you know, it's kind of betwixt and between. It depends on what your idea is and, you know, how it delivers to the community. You just saw the downtown concert series that we've done with the DDA. You could listen to Arturo play all night, by the way, but that was something that, you know, the community has just really, you know, gotten on board with and really jumped on. So ideas that have legs as the contest, you know, continues to go, we're going to hope that they'll find a way to be sustainable, because other people will look and say, wow, the night went first, they funded this, it's great. We want, you know, that we got to reach out to the community and have them come and participate. And, you know, some ideas we just may keep going with. We're just not sure. Yes.
I'm a little bit confused on you said that after April is when you win if you win the challenge grant. When can you start the project?
So you'll actually find out whether your application has been successful and you're invited to submit a proposal by April 28th. You won't actually receive a grant until November 29th this year. You can start your project.
Start raising your match, I guess.
You can start raising your match when you find out if you're a winner. And really you can start your project at any time, but you're not going to get Knight Foundation funding until after November 29th. And you need to be careful also about when you start raising your match. We have to tell you that you've received a grant before your match funds will begin to count towards that match. So-
No, we'll be announcing the finalists in April of this year, and we'll be announcing the winners to the world November 29, and we'll whisper to the winners a few weeks before that in early November, late October of this year. So this is 2010.
And you can get to work right away.
Well, some people have their match raised, and we fund them by the end of the year. You know, it just depends. Depends on the scale of the match, what they're doing, what their project is.
Would you say that there's a thread between the applications that were finalists that did not get funded? And do you provide feedback for those finalists that did not get funding?
Is there a thread? Yeah, I think that the thread is that these are really good ideas that sometimes have a flaw. And it's hard to describe what that flaw is. And sometimes it's really just a matter of limited resources and having to pick and choose between very, very compelling ideas. And I have spent time with almost every unsuccessful finalist, and will continue to do so. So yeah, I'm glad to do that.
What, just quickly, I forgot my question. It's been a long day.
It's okay.
Would you, is it okay for finalists that have submitted full applications to resubmit those ideas? You think that's
Yes.
just worthless?
Yes. One of the things that happens sometimes is if you ask for a lot of money and we wind up only having a lot less money than you've asked for, and we don't think you can do your idea for a lot less money, it might be a great idea, but if we can't actually get you there, then we're not going to fund your idea. So you've got to be realistic about that, I think. I think that's part of it.
Can you tell me, must the events or are the events free of charge to the public, or can they be gated?
Oh yeah,
Or
they can be
box
gated. Absolutely, yeah. We're not, our grant money is to help your idea get legs. It's not for us to tell you that you can't put on a performance and charge. These spaces are expensive to rent, as you well know. So there's no, you can operate your organization as you would normally do it. I mean, Beth Boone's a good example of that. You saw Rosie up here in the clip, and we funded that project, and they certainly charged for the performances.
Can your funds be used as a match toward a bigger project that has more funds coming in?
Yeah. I mean, all the projects work that way because we're only putting up a maximum of 50% of the money, but we can be 40% or 30% of the money. That's fine too. We're glad to be less. It just means that more money is coming out of the community toward the cultural ideas that you guys have generated.
If you're a nonprofit that has a revenue stream, can that revenue stream be diverted to match this, so that's part of the matching?
We prefer to see new dollars come into the organization, and we don't like to see operating funds from previous years used for the match.
Okay.
But in certain cases, yes.